Hello, welcome back to my channel. Anyway, today I want to talk about how it feels really weird not being negative lately, and I definitely feels really weird about it. Hi guys, my name is Valourine. I'm a solopreneur, which means I just sell stuff on the internet. You can check out my description box to see what I sell, mostly arts, graphic designs, etc., etc. On YouTube, though, I just basically yap, which is basically talking out to the camera this year, 2025. So if you want to come and hang out every day, or every other day, or at least every week, because we don't know what the schedule is for the rest of 2025 right now. And check out some vlogs. You can see the playlists and check out my channel. If you like, come and subscribe and hang out every day, or every other day, or every other week. Anyway, back to the topic today. I recently are having a very difficult time being negative, which is really concerning. Let me explain, because I am so used to being negative for my whole life, and it's just the way of life. So recently I'm having difficulties being negative, despite the fact that all my life circumstances is actually pointing to the negative. Like, everything is, except for my mental state, is going downwards. Like, I'm, based on circumstances, I should be really depressed and maybe going towards that, desire of not wanting to be around anymore. I would definitely be fully understanding if someone in my position right now be in that particular mind space, but I am not in that mind space. I am in that place where I'm actually quite dismissive about it, about the circumstances and everything. And I'm concerned with the fact that I am not in a negative space. Am I in denial? Is this how you put like in denial? Anyway, so I'm drinking another matcha glass. So this is my third glass for the day. I mixed the matcha with this winter melon drink from Yeo's. So if you know, like usually they have like this box drink that they sell. So the Chinese drinks usually comes with sugarcane, or like and other like melon drink and stuff like that. And usually if you drink like the carton drink in Western world, you get like apple juice or pineapple juice or mango juice. And if you drink like Korean ones, you get like, banana milk, melon milk, strawberry milk, that type of thing. But this one is winter melon drink, which is really nice. I accidentally found out when I went to the city and bought um one box from the Japanese convenience. Anyway, I'm digressing. It's nice. Um, I'm having difficulty doing the negative activities that I usually do. Usually, I would go down the hill and have this extreme mental negative state where I would just berate myself. I would just say, "Oh my God," or I would at least like complain to God, or I complain to the universe, or complain to whatever forces, invisible forces that I held accountable for my circumstances. It's like, why is things are not moving? Why is my life still suffering like this? Why is everything disappearing? Why is everything that I touch disappears like into thin air? When is my life going to get better? When is, all these things, right? If you watch my documentary for 2024 vlogs wise, you would understand, because that's basically what I wrote down in my vlogs last year, and that was real. That was like my mental state. But so far, like recently, I'm having difficulty going through that. It's as if that maybe it is a defense mechanism, and or maybe it's just a sign of the days that we live in right now, which is everything is going to shite anyway, and I'm not the only one that is suffering in this whole late stage capitalism phase that we are all living in. And I feel like I think I mentioned this a few times. It's like last year when during October, November, I felt like something snapped in my brain, and as there was as if that as a disconnection, as if that there was an actual physical scissors that basically cut the connection between me and this negative mental state. It wasn't like immediate, but it was gradual, more like it. It was as if that I was no longer allowed to keep being negative about it. And I feel like there was a disconnect between my reality and what's going on inside suddenly. I felt like my inner world is living somewhere else while my circumstances in my real life is still unfolding the way it needs to. And I'm not denying what's happening on the outside. I'm not denying that um, I am still don't have any cash as much as I want in my bank account. Like my earnings are declining to the point of zero. I'm not on all areas, and I'm not denying all of that is happening, but I'm not responding the same way as I used to. I'm not responding in a way where I felt unfair, which is it is. I still think it's unfair, but I don't feel it as much. I feel like I went through a lot more painful emotional unfolding 4 years ago when it was only like one source of income was cut off while I was still having other sources of income and was actually capable of saving some money, while now I'm not even able to save any money at all I could do is just paid for all my expenses and that's it. I would not have any spare anymore, but I'm not in that space where I'm negative. It's so weird, because it feels like I'm okay. It feels like I'm okay. It's like even when I'm skimping on money, even when I have to count my coins and like buying food, I'm like, I'm okay. It's so weird. It's like, I don't know whether it's a mindset thing or whether it's a denial thing. I don't think it's a denial thing though, because it's been going on for a few weeks now and I'm still here. It's not like I have gone through, because like if you're going through the 5 stages of grief, you go through denial, anger, bargaining, and then depression, and then acceptance. Because if I'm actually going through these 5 stages of grief, the denial stage, then I should have gone towards the anger and bargaining stage by now. That's what I'm expecting, but I haven't really. It's just been like, okay, this is it, and what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna relax about it. And it feels weird because my body, even though I'm going through a lot of sickness, maybe it's purging all the negativity outside to like dispel it out to outside of my body. Maybe that's what's happening. Being sick means like it's just purging all the negativity out. Um, if I want to be really positive about this, and this is definitely flipping the script, and I feel like if this is me being optimistic, but I'm not naturally doing it. I am pushing myself to do it this particular bit. So this is not the natural state that I'm having right now. Right now, I'm just in that nowhere stage where I'm not feeling any negativity, but I'm also not feeling positivity at all. I'm just like in that state of being happy in limbo. While before, I was not happy in limbo. I was in hell. But I was in limbo, but I was in hell. Meaning like I was feeling it experiencing it in a very negative manner. But now, even though my circumstances hasn't changed, even though my location hasn't changed, I'm still in limbo. I'm still in purgatory. My experiential state has changed. My experiential state has changed into neutral mode, and even though there are resistance here and there is like this habit that I still kind of do, which is like recording, and doing this thing because it makes me feel normal somehow, like I have some kind of purpose every day that I need to make videos and stuff. So um But to be positive, I'm like, if I'm trying to push myself to be positive about my current circumstances, I'm thinking maybe I am preparing myself for a positive future. Or maybe I'm expecting the world to collapse before anything extremely bad can happen to me. I feel like I'm trying to maintain some sort of zen in the uncertainty of the world. The uncertainty of the world has gone into berserk mode where everything is just ridiculous, where everything just becomes a mockery of reality. It's as if that the level of heart, if you are not a billionaire, is has gone into impossible. So if you're not a billionaire, game has just life has just become an impossible game to play. So I felt like I just don't want to play. That's it. Like just gonna get myself out of the game altogether because the game is rigged anyway. But in a positive way, in a way that as if to say that the game is only fun if everyone has the same rules and everyone like that's fine if you're winning at the game because you are good at playing, but it's a different story if you're good if you're winning at the game because you rigged the game. That's a different story altogether, and it's a different story also if you win the game, if you are starting at a very different starting point, if you are like only two stops away from the finish line while the rest of us are like 1,000 steps behind to start with. So maybe because of this particular concept that I have in my brain lately, that I'm not putting too much pressure on the fact that my circumstances is miserable. It's I feel like I'm making up maybe a story in my head that it's not my fault that right now I'm in this particular circumstances. It is to some degree. It is, I'm not, trying to kind of shoo away like responsibility. I'm not. Um, but I feel like it's if the circumstances are normal, if the games are not rigged, if the rules are not part of, a reality where, and I know it's probably wrong, it's probably me justifying it so that I don't have to feel bad about myself, but I never done that before. I never done justifying circumstances so that I can feel better in my whole 41 years of life. So the fact that I'm doing it now is really feeling very surprisingly good. I feel like, oh, is this what normal people do? This is what normal people do with a healthy ego. Should have done this a long time ago. But at the same time, as I was saying, like if I were being positive, I feel like I think it'll be okay. Life will be okay. Life will sort itself out. If circumstances is to be believed, if history is to be believed, usually when there's a huge tension between the billionaires class and the rest of us class, usually there is going to be a riot, a revolution of some sort, a reset is going to be made so that equality is somewhat restored again and the gap is somewhat lessened as like right now the width is too big, so it's gonna be like reduced so that the gap is not too high. I feel like we are repeating history from the 1930s or 1940s when when the World War happened, when the Great Depression happened. I feel like we are heading towards that same history again, and I think it did start with COVID-19 in 2020, and I feel like that was a precursor. And right now we are going through similar stories, but I just hope that we are not going towards a similar ending, mainly because I feel like a reset definitely will happen, but I also feel like hopefully we don't go towards World War Three, or if it does happen, hopefully it happens only for like 2 months or something, so that it shut down really quickly. Like I was saying in a different video with the South Korean coup stuff. So it happens, but it didn't happen very long. So, but we do have wars so far. We have like Russia and Ukraine war and stuff. And I know like there's a lot of wars in Africa that we don't particularly cover in the big three, which is America, UK, and Australia. And I feel like right now, because I'm living in Australia, I feel like as a collective, I don't feel we have decided yet where we stand in the global stance of the world. I feel like as someone that is living in the continent of Australia, we really do need to redefine our identity, whether we need to become part of the geographical location where we are at, which is part of the Asia Pacific region, or do we want to keep continuing becoming a vassal state of the America and also the UK? Because we are still part of the Commonwealth of the you know Great United Kingdom. Um, I know that sounded very like left field. It's like, what does that have anything to do with reality and stuff? Well, if Australia wants to be associated more with the geopolitical region of where we are, I feel like economically we would be more at advantage rather than buying into the idealism of America, where they are definitely villainizing Chinese and villainizing East Asian as much, trying to portray that they're the evil of the world and they're trying to take over the world in a hostile manner, which is not true. And rather than buying that and importing that type of fear mongering into Australia, I feel we probably need to have a different narrative. I guess, like as a nation, we need to start thinking for ourselves and self evaluate ourselves and where we need to move, where we need to go forward, and how we need to capitalize on our location and how we manage that relationship with the neighboring countries. I feel like this has become a political lecture. It isn't really. It isn't. I just feel like a lot of things are outside my control, and I just have to feel like somehow my circumstances is definitely I can't come up with any kind of solution for my life, and all I can do right now is just keeping on existing and having the experience where I'm not thinking negatively about myself or about my life is extremely weird. And all the thoughts that I have are mostly very practical right now. I'm not feeling a lot of things. I'm just saying to my head, like, you know what, just see what happens every day. Just record some videos. So this is will be your work. Like, this is the only thing that you can control, which is what your output is. And even that is highly dependent on my energy level and whether I'm sick or not on that day, which is happening quite a lot this year. And maybe it's like my body is feeling like stress, releasing most of the stress that comes from last year. Like all the burnout is like, whoosh, like being released slowly, like all the toxic emotion and toxic things out of my body. So I'm feeling all the sickness this year. Um, feel like my brain is not going into the catastrophizing mode where it just goes into the worst case scenario like I did last year. So it's not triggering any kind of anxieties or panic attacks so far because my brain is refusing to go to that direction, which I find to be quite. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my brain hasn't gone feral so far. Uh, I do get intrusive thoughts here and there, but it's not long. It's just a bleep whole in the whole day, for example. So, and even with repetitive thoughts that can be traumatic in my brain, that usually comes in very, like, it can be quite negative when it attacks me. I feel like I'm just doing this practice again, like this morning, like the same kind of traumatic noise and memories from the past is playing in my head like a loop, which happens quite a lot. And I was basically telling this image is like, here we go, some love, some peace. Now move along. Literally, that's what I did. I think like, and that was quite unheard of last year, and I felt like I was really fully experiencing and embracing my anger last year. But this is, well, not this year, but so far, like this past week or so, I'm just reducing the amount. And I realized like one of the reason why is because maybe I was EMDRing too hard. Like I use my bilateral stimulation therapy device quite often, the buzzer. In the past week or so, I just been reducing it just to once every 2 days. And I feel like my experience reducing that buzzer type is quite effective because I have been having less nightmares and I have been having less of a traumatic memory loop. So maybe there are some things that can be overdone or can be overdosed, like EMDR, buzzing therapy. Um, but yeah, I feel like I just want to share with you guys this experience that may not last forever. So I want to document it here, by saying it is possible. There will be a time in your life right now where if you are feeling extreme negativity in your mind and extreme worst case scenario, catastrophizing all the time and giving yourself a panic attack and stuff. Um, I want to put it here as a testimony that this is the phase of my life so far, anyway, the past week or the past month, that my brain hasn't gone there yet. And it's a weird experience, but it definitely happens. So if you're aiming to have this a mental state where it's not affected by your circumstances or whatever happening in your life, it's real. It exists. I am experiencing it right now. So yeah, don't give up. If you're in therapy, keep going to therapy. If you are in um meditation, just keep doing your meditation. And I'm not sure how where to go from here. So my circumstances hasn't gotten any better. So I'm just saying that the mental state is here. The result is the mental state. That's the result, that if that's the result that you're aiming, the result is not if the result that you're aiming is not the change of circumstances but the change of mental state, then yeah, it exists. Your mental state can reach peace. Your mental state can reach positiveness, I guess, positivity even. Your mental state can reach into that calm state even though your circumstances actually gotten worse. You can reach this state. It exists. I'm here. I'm not sure how long this lasts, but I know now that it exists. And I guess it's very useful because later on, maybe when this kind of phase may be shifted into going back or regress to panic attack state, then I know like, oh, I can go back to this state where I'm not really affected by circumstances, where I can have peace of mind, even, when the world is collapsing around me. Anyway, I just want to share that with you guys, and I hope you guys have a great time. And I will see you guys later. Also, reminder, ING Australia give away $125 bonus cash for new customers. If you want to check out the details, go to the description box, and the links is just there at the bottom. So you can check out the details and the steps that you need to take if you want to gain $125 cash for free for new customers only with ING Australia until 31st of March 2025. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening and hanging out with me. I see you later. Bye, everyone.